Missing children? What happened?
I was 13 when I left home for good. My stepfather's punishment room was the garage. Cold concrete floors, no insulation, and that lingering smell of motor oil. That night, I'd broken his rule about using the kitchen after 8 p.m. because I was starving. Hadn't eaten since breakfast. I thought I was being quiet. The microwave was almost done when his hand clamped down on my shoulder. What part of no kitchen after 8 don't you understand? His voice was calm. That's what always terrified me most. He never yelled. I was hungry, I stammered, already knowing it was useless. 3 days, no food, he said, gripping my arm so hard I knew it would bruise. Maybe then you'll remember the rules. He marched me to the garage, made me watch as he dropped my half-warmed pasta on the ground and crushed it under his boot. Clean that up tomorrow, he said, shoving me inside and locking the door. This wasn't new. What was new was the tiny window I'd secretly loosened weeks ago. I'd been preparing since the day he'd broken my mom's wrist, and she'd still defended him to the police. I knew then no one was coming to save us. I waited until 2 a.m., listening for his snores. Mom would be passed out on sleeping pills by now, her own escape. I slid the window open, grimacing at every tiny squeak. It was barely big enough for my shoulders. I squeezed through with only my school backpack containing clothes, my birth certificate I'd stolen from Mom's drawer, and the $220 I'd saved from my secret weekend job at the movie theater. Mr. Grayson paid me cash and never asked about the bruises. I didn't go to a friend's house. That would be the first place he'd look. Instead, I made my way to school, found the loose panel in the fence, and crawled under the bleachers. I'd stashed an old sleeping bag there days earlier, just in case. For 2 weeks, I lived like this, arriving at school before anyone else, washing in the gym locker room, attending classes, working extra shifts, and sleeping wherever I could. I kept my grades up, stayed quiet, nobody noticed, nobody asked. That's the thing about being the quiet kid. People don't really see you, even when you're right in front of them. Then came the Amber Alert, my face on everyone's phones during third period. I kept my head down, pretending to work on algebra. Missing child, kidnapping suspected, it read. That evening, my stepfather was on the local news, arm around my mother, who looked vacant beside him. Please, he said, voice cracking with fake tears, please bring our son home. We're worried sick. The same man who broke my arm, teaching me to catch when I was 9. The same man who locked our dog in the trunk of his car for hours when it chewed his shoe. The next day was harder. People were looking at their phones, then at faces around them. I kept my hoodie up, skipped lunch, avoided eye contact. The school counselor, Ms. Reeves, spotted me sleeping in the library during my free period. I was hidden in the reference section, but she was returning a book. I saw the moment of recognition in her eyes. She didn't say anything then, just walked away. I panicked, gathered my things, and was about to leave when she appeared at the door. Jason, she whispered, can we talk in my office? I followed her, calculating if I could run and how far I might get. She closed the door and pulled the shade. They're looking for you, she said simply. I just nodded. Is it safe for you at home? She asked, eyes searching mine. For a moment, I considered lying. Slowly, I pushed up my sleeves, showing the burn marks on my wrists from when he'd held my arms against the hot stove for talking back. Then I lifted my shirt, revealing the bruises across my ribs. There's more, I said quietly, but you get the idea. She didn't call my parents. Instead, she called Child Protective Services. Then she let me sit in her office.